Okay. I'm not sure if this is right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay. Let me see if there is volume. I'm going to wait. If people start to join, then I continue with what I have to do. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I am on live. As usual, we meet twice a week during the weekend live to share some beautiful information, empowerment about women's health, about fertility, about pregnancy, postpartum, and early motherhood. We share a whole lot about Islamic reminders related to this aspect of our lives. That's very, very important. I have been coming on live for the past 3 weeks or so, 3 weekends, and I hope that you join me and you engage with me. Okay, I hope that you join and you engage and you share it to other sisters who need this information as well. Today I am seated because I want to share something beautiful. So I would wait when I see people join, then I would engage. And I hope that when you join me, you're going to engage me. Please let me know if you hear me. You've joined. Please just send a like or an emoji to let me know if you can hear me, because I haven't figured out how to test this thing to see if it is working with the mic that I use. Maybe I should just figure it out myself with a different device. It's too good. Subhanallah. That's the reason why you're here on my live. Beautiful. You are welcome. I hope that you're okay. Okay. You know that Jews, there are a lot of Jews that are Muslims as well. So be specific, okay? I know that you're trying to attack me as a Muslim. It's okay. I am here. You're welcome. All right? You are definitely welcome. Okay? All right. You know that Jews, whatever they are Orthodox, they are whatever, there are a lot of Jews that are Muslims. Yes. And that is not the reason why you're here. You're not here to listen to why I'm here. You are here to just say what you want to say because you have something in mind. Okay? So I have to be very blatant with that. And then let you know if that is the reason why you're here, you are welcome. But make sure that you make us feel safe here. Okay? Let us be safe. This is a very peaceful space, okay? We don't want to concoct it. We don't want to mix it up with anything, okay? All right. If you're okay, then let's go on. Beautiful. I love that. I love that engagement. Yes. Okay. All right. Oh, you're Muslim. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum. May peace and blessings of Allah be with you and me as well. All right. Okay. So, I used to have 100. I used to have 100 chicken. They lay a lot of eggs, and I share it with my Jew friends. I share it with my Christian friends. I share it with my Muslim friends. Even my Muslim friends don't get to get enough of it. I don't get to share it with them. By the time it gets to them, the Jews and the Christians have had theirs already. Yes. I used to have a very big coop in my backyard that I shed all the eggs that my chicken lay. I shed it out. Yeah. Oh, okay. I should take it off. Beautiful. What are you inquisitive about? What are you inquisitive about? I like that. Beautiful. Okay. It's good that YouTube has made it accessible that I can edit this out. So this is not the reason why I'm here. I am here to share with my community about a beautiful, beautiful empowerment regarding our health as women of color, as women of, if you are not a woman of color and you are joining me, it's good. Come. You are here. Information is free. It depends on you if you want to take it or not. Okay? I'm here to empower my Muslim sisters. I'm here to empower myself with education regarding women's health, pregnancy, fertility, and postpartum. So if that is the reason why you're here, you are good. Join me and we will share. Today I'm going to read out this book, okay? Birth Without Fear. I have shared this a lot of times, I have shared this book, but I have not read it. I know that there are a lot of sisters who might want to say, okay, I'm not a reader, I don't want to read any book, or I don't have time to read. I'm going to go through reading this book for a little bit, and if time permits, I would read it again for my next live video tomorrow, okay? So if you're interested, you can join me as well. All right, so Birth Without Fear is written by January Hash. It says the judgment-free guide to taking care of your pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. I am going to also read the part 1 because it has a very important information here regarding the author. The author did a very good job writing this book. I wish that I could get a double camera thing. I know how to do it. And then I will share me reading the book and then you listening in and then also engaging. Okay? All right. So part 1, empowered pregnancy. Love yourself enough to get the care you deserve. Love yourself enough to get the care you deserve. In the following chapters, I will hold space for you. Your variations of normal, your pregnancy from your first trimester to your last. Every pregnancy is different. Even if you've already had children, every pregnancy is unique. Don't skip these chapters. Take time to hear the encouragement, support, and love. Whether you are a first-time mom or mother of many, these chapters are going to remind you of the power you already have within you. Being pregnant can be mentally and physically challenging. Even if you have a simple or easy pregnancy, it becomes your whole world. But the world around you doesn't stop being the way that it is. The only person you can count on to validate that is you. Make sure you are loving and honoring yourself first, and then it expands out from there to your partner, spouse, friends, family, and birth team. I'm not going to tell you what to expect during your pregnancy. This is not a week-by-week guide. No one can tell you exactly how to feel or how this pregnancy is going to go. It is impossible. Instead, I want to give you the wisdom of your mom, aunts, and sisters that you never had. I'm bringing together thousands of women women's voices and experiences and sharing their wisdom with you. Women who witness each other as women, not the media's version of us or the medical narrative of us, but our own and each other's power. You are holding the collective voice of thousands of women in your hands. Yes. I love reading this as much as I know the author loved writing this. So I'm going to go on to finish up the chapter 1. I finished up reading part 1, and I'm going on to read chapter 1. The part 1 is very, very encouraging, is very empowering. People showing us and making us to feel little and making us to feel less than, like somebody is doing right now on my life. If you respect yourself enough, please leave. But if you want to bring engagement to me, thank you. I love that. Okay, already. That's why I'm here. All right, so let's go on. Okay, good. Chapter 1, Variations of Normal. First trimester without fear. Yeah. You are unique. Yes, you are. You are not like any other pregnant woman before you, currently or to come. Even your previous pregnancies, if you've had them, are different from this one. There is such a constellation of things that make you you, and your pregnancy, from geography to the idiosyncrasies of the body. Take refuge in the experiences of others when they are a source of comfort, solidarity, and useful information, with the knowledge that every single pregnant person or every single pregnant woman and her baby is unique. Okay, so this book seemed to use I'm going to replace every word because I know my target audience. I'm not going to use pregnant person here. I'm going to use pregnant woman. So excuse me if I use pregnant person. That is not my intention because I'm reading and it looks like I'm on live. And no, yeah, I know that I can be carried away with the tension and the pressure, especially with somebody who doesn't know the to respect others and to respect themselves. And they are here just doing what they are not supposed to do on somebody else's life, trying to dysregulate me. I'm not accepting that. Okay? I'm not accepting that. Yeah, subhanallah. Yeah, this is beautiful. Jazakillahu khairan for joining me. Yeah. So, yeah, I like that I am getting questions instead of somebody being here trying to make a scene. Let me just concentrate on what I'm here to do and go on. Share that information with those people who, the sisters who are here for the community building, for us all to learn and for us all to engage with each other, right? So sister says she is 38 weeks and she's always hungry. Yeah, 38 weeks is like you are already in the stretch, the thick of it of pregnancy. You are almost finishing the getting ready and everything else. Right now, at this stage, baby is in the stage where the only thing they do, the only job they do is to just grow. Baby is growing. So the growth spurt is taking up your stomach space. It's going to take up your stomach space if your pregnancy goes on up until maybe 40 weeks, 41 weeks, or even 42 weeks, because 42 weeks is evidence-based, okay? You can go all the way to 42 weeks and some days, I think 3 days or so, and you can still have a healthy baby, all right? So if your pregnancy, inshallah, goes all the way to that time, you will see that baby is going to take up the space. The uterus is supposed to be expanding, all right? So it's going to stretch and expand, make space for baby. As baby is growing, your placenta is also growing, because baby's needs increases as the placenta also have to provide what it's supposed to provide to baby. Your blood is going to increase because you are going to shed some blood. You are going to lose some blood whilst giving birth to your child. So the stomach space, everything is going to be pushed up. If you feel hungry all the time, what I advise is to look at what you eat. Okay, you already don't have enough space, stomach space. So when you eat something, don't eat it because you want to fill up the tummy. Eat it because you want to maximize being satiated and also being nourished. Because right now your body needs to be nourished, okay, to prepare for the event, that event of birth and postpartum. So the food that you choose should be very nutrient dense, and also it should be satiating, okay? What I advise is right now at 38 weeks, you prioritize protein. Eating protein is very, very helpful. It's even shown that in third trimester, basically your food has to be like half of it, more than half of it if you can, 100 grams or more. The ideal is 120 grams if you can go all the way to 120 grams. But a lot of women cannot, right? Maybe you are experiencing heartburn, you are experiencing all sort of other discomfort of pregnancy. You cannot go all the way there, right? So you do what you can. 100 grams is a good gauge. It's a good number. So if you are eating that amount, that helps for the muscle building, that helps for metabolic functioning. It also helps to prepare your body for the events of that birth and postpartum as well, right? Because your baby is dependent on the protein that you eat. The amino acid that comes from the protein is very essential for baby. And it also helps for you to be satiated because protein is heavy, all right? It's not like carbs. And then when you have to choose your carbs, you choose your carbs right. Right now, you don't have to choose simple carbs, because simple carbs is going to just go through your body, get metabolized, and then boom, raises up your blood sugar and then brings you back flat without really satiating you, right? And then also dysregulating your blood sugar. You don't want to get any dysregulation of blood sugar, especially getting towards the end of pregnancy. So prioritizing protein is important. And then also paying attention to the foods. The food, if you're choosing it, choose wholesome. Don't choose the simple carbs. I know it's easy to say, okay, I'm craving, I want it. Yes, craving 1-2 times is good. But the underlying thing about your craving is also because of carbs dependent. So if you're over depending on carbs and then also dysregulated blood sugar, you would definitely crave a whole lot, right? So dysregulation of blood sugar will make you to always be hungry, and you want to just graze on things, pick up stuff and eat it, pick up stuff and eat it. And you eat a whole bunch of stuff and still not be satiated, not feel like you've eaten anything. I hope this is helpful. Yeah, you can go ahead and do that if you want to. Yeah, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, good. I hope this is helpful. Let's move on. Let me see if there is any helpful genuine question here that I should replied to. I I should have closed this comment thing. I have never come live vertically like this, and I think coming on live vertically, it's kind of it's different. Yeah, it attracts all those other bugs, those people bugs that I don't really want them to be here. But unfortunately, it's here. So, yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. So, yes, there's no other question here. All right. It's good to yeah, that's good. All right, so let's move on to reading. Okay, good. Um, I'm not sure if I read the second paragraph, but let's move on. I'm not here to tell you that you will feel this or that. I'm here to offer you this healing perspective. Everything you feel is a variation of normal. Actually, let me start reading from the first paragraph, chapter 1. So, chapter 1, variations of normal, first trimester without fear. You are unique. You are not like any other pregnant woman before you, currently or to come. Even your previous pregnancies, if you've had them, are different from this one. There is such a constellation of things that make you you, and your pregnancy, from geography to the idiosyncrasies of your body. Take refuge in the experiences of others when they are a source of comfort, solidarity, and useful information, with the knowledge that every single pregnant woman and her body is unique. I'm not here to tell you that you will feel this or that. I'm here to offer you this healing perspective. Everything you feel is a variation of normal. You may experience all the things you see on television or read online or in books throughout your pregnancy, birth, and postpartum, or almost none of them. And that's okay. Okay? Yesterday, I was telling one of my clients that if you are experiencing nausea, she's experiencing nausea and she's really vomiting all the time. She's vomited only in the morning for like 3 times. And I was telling her, yes, you would experience that even if nobody else around you is experiencing that. And that doesn't mean your pregnancy is at risk, or you have certain things going on, or you did something wrong. No, every pregnancy is different. The reason why you feel that way is because you are unique. And the baby, the fetus, or the embryo inside you, in your uterus that is growing, is unique. It's a force of power, a whole lot of power happening inside of your uterus. So imagine a human being that is going to grow up one day to be that person, to be that beautiful soul is growing inside of your uterus. How amazing is that? And how unfathomable can you even, you can't even imagine that you are growing that person that you don't even know the future of. That person will grow up to become that billionaire, the president of the world, the peacemaker, the whatever it is growing inside your uterus. Yeah, sister, you're going to feel it. You're going to go through something. And if you are not going through anything, wallahi, Allah you be grateful. Even if you're going through anything, be grateful, because those are some of the signs, especially in the first trimester. Nausea and vomiting has been shown to be one of the signs that shows that pregnancy is here to stay. Okay. A lot of women who experience the first trimester discomfort, especially morning sickness, nausea, and vomiting, have decreased risks of miscarriage. But miscarriage, that doesn't, when you have miscarriage, that doesn't mean it's your fault. No. Okay. Just as Allah has made it to not be in your control to be pregnant, the same way Allah has made it to not be in your control to miscarry. It's not in your control. Okay? Sometimes things happen, but it's not in your control. Okay? So whatever it is, you can go through the surge of hormonal changes. Everything is just what is going on. And somebody else next to you is just having a blissful pregnancy. That doesn't mean that you are doing anything wrong or you have done anything wrong. Okay? All right. One evening after a birth without fear gathering, a mom approached me, tears quickly falling from her eyes as she introduced herself. She had had a traumatic birth with her first baby, she told me. During labor, just as her body and her baby began to transition, she suffered a panic attack. Out of control, disabling anxiety, heart pounding, struggling to breathe. I'm pregnant with my second child, she said, and I'm so afraid of that happening again. She explained that she had read everything she could get her hands on, but none of it addressed how to not have this happen again, and her fear would not subside. Will you have good support this time? I asked her. Yes, she responded, describing her relationship with her midwife, doula, and partner. But even with this team in place, nobody knows how to help keep me from experiencing another panic attack. She concluded. What if instead of trying to find something or someone that can keep your panic attack from happening again, you and your birth team make space for it to make it happen again? Okay? I asked her, what are some things that can tell your birth team to say or do that it is comforting if it happens again? Make space for it to be okay for it to happen. She had a look of shock on her face as this idea took root. And it was as if I could see this new perspective make sense to her in every cell of the body. She sighed, embraced me in a hug, and tearfully said, "Thank you. No one has suggested that, but it makes so much sense. We all have our own fears, our own stories like this woman's, our own histories we bring into pregnancy and birth. When I hear stories like this from parents all over the world, it always makes me wonder, where did so many of us get this notion ingrained in us that if we read or watch precisely the right combination of advice and information, if we plan and do everything just right, that we can control the outcome or the journey to the outcome?" Why do we put so much pressure on ourselves? Pressure that can so easily turn to blame, self-hate, disappointment, and anxiety when the outcome isn't as expected. You don't have to chase the elusive perfection. There is no right way. There is only your way. your baby's weight, and your family's weight. You can't control the pregnancy and birth journey. All you can do is make space for yourself. Get really interested in listening to and trusting your instinct. Get really interested in listening to and trusting your instinct. Don't fight yourself. Give yourself permission to feel whatever it is you are feeling each step of the way with love and acceptance. In this regard, it is almost like you giving Allah back what his job is. It's tawakkul, having faith that this is not in control of you. You are not in control of anything. Just as you are not in control of making yourself pregnant, you will not be in control of what happens to your birth, to your pregnancy, or to your postpartum. All you need to do is to tie your camel, like the Prophet ﷺ has advised. You tie your camel, you do the action, you implement what you need to implement. Whatever you need to do, you do it, and leave the control out of your hands. So we are going there. And that is the main things I teach on here, especially when I start to talk about birth itself, right? When I'm not talking about nutrition or anything, nutrition is in our control. We are given all of the nutrient-dense foods to eat and nourish ourselves, right? We are given all the other stuff. We are also given access to care. We are given access to hydration, access to breathe, access to speak our mind, to say what we want to say, to ask our doctors, to not let our doctors make us feel little. All of those things to bring our ideas, right? But after that, everything else, the health of the baby, whether you eat as much as you want, you nourish yourself as much as you want, it is up to Allah, for Allah to make the baby what it's supposed to be. Allah has the fate of the baby in your hands, has the fate of your pregnancy in his hands, right? So you let go control and do what you need to do. And that's what she's saying here. I doubt it if January Harsh is a Muslim, but what she's teaching is almost to what tawakkul is, right? Okay. That's radical acceptance. You just accept that everything else is not in your hands. It's in Allah's hands. What you need to do is what you need to do. What is in your control is what you can do to make influence the outcome, right? But other than that, if the outcome becomes whatever it becomes, you did your best. You did what you're supposed to do. Yes. Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil. That is total submission to him. Total, you've given it to him. He would just maneuver everything. You always go back to how it started. Imagine women who have been trying so hard to be pregnant in their fertility journey, and they've never been pregnant. If you are in this space and you, like us who, when I go to work and I experience women, I hear women's experience, I engage with them, I am part of the team who, it's kind of like, okay, hasn't Allah done enough for me that I still feel like I need more? Like, what? What is going on? Like, women are really going through it. Some women want to be pregnant and they have never been pregnant. Some women go through a lot of treatment just to find themselves pregnant, to just say, I have that test, that pregnancy test that says positive, and there's no more. Like, really, I was pregnant before. They've never been. They've never been. Imagine. They've never been. So if you have been pregnant and that little seed, that little leech-like something is growing, is attaching to your uterine lining, and it's actually growing, and you are feeling all the discomforts of the stages of pregnancy that you are, even the pain, exactly, even the pain. And some professionals say the pain can be surges, but there is pain. We cannot say there's no pain. Allah has said it in the Quran already. It's pain. There is pain associated to childbirth, right? But after the pain, what comes next is beautiful. But He's going to make it even more beautiful for us, right? Yeah, even that. I totally agree. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, pregnancy itself is a natural process, okay? Pregnancy is a natural process. It's just like any other processes that happen in our body, right? So when we say natural, natural means giving birth through the birth canal, right? So giving birth through a different way, maybe a belly birth or C-section, doesn't make it less natural. It is still natural, except that there is a whole lot of other things, influences that makes us to give it that term as it is not a natural birth. When you give birth to your child is a human being. It's going to be a human being just as when you give birth to him through a C-section or through the birth canal. Okay? The term as in natural, I kind of like sometimes use it because that is the term everybody uses. But kind of a physiological birth would be an appropriate word for me, as in following what birth is supposed to be, right? Following the processes, the physiology of birth, right? That is what makes birth beautiful, and what we classify, me and you, the lay person, classify it as a natural birth. Okay? So even when you conceive, somebody conceives through assisted processes, somebody conceiving in a different way, not the actual what Allah has made it to happen, is stillbirth. But when we classify it as an unnatural, it's natural thing that is happening. Everything else is natural. Only if we boost it with certain things and all of those things and make it. But for us sisters, we know that this is what Allah has made it a blessing for us. So going through pregnancy, beautiful. When you want to make decision and you want to choose a physiological birth, you have to make sure that, yes, you work through it, you tie your camel, like I was saying, because especially us living in the West, living in America here, even in part of geographical, wherever we live. In Africa, I know that where I I come from, because women don't have the access, too much of the access to care, they tend to give birth at home, or they tend to go to the care centers that don't really have that option of giving birth through C-section. Otherwise, that would be also part of that problem, because doctors will go for that, right? For women who are planning to have a physiological birth, what I say is, yeah, learn how much you want to learn. Read up. Make sure that you ask people or women who have had the kind of birth you want to have, and they don't have birth trauma. They don't have stories to tell you that are not really the good ending stories. Okay? If they tell you all the traumas that they went through, that is going to be subconsciously part of your birth story as well. God forbid. Right? So, in as much as possible, if you are, yes, of course, going for that natural birth, and it's better, you can't fight contraction. No way. You cannot fight contraction. Of course you cannot. So there is a saying that if you tense up yourself when you are in birth, and you tense up and you hold yourself too much, that means you are fighting yourself, right? You are tensing yourself up, you feel the pain more, right? But when you let go, letting go control, there's nothing you can do about it. Yours is to find ways for pain management. Hopefully you've done all of that before the birth, okay? You know all of the other things that you can do that bring you comfort, and you just do those, right? You know your options, you know alternatives to other things that if this pain management doesn't go as planned, this is what you can choose, the alternative that you can choose. So if you have all that laid out and you go in, you just let Allah in. And you let yourself out. You just let out. Because contraction, when you tense up and you fight it, you're going to feel even more pain. And feeling more pain, especially if you're giving birth in the hospital, that is when doctors will say, oh, because there's so many things happening when you're giving birth. There's so many things happening when you're giving birth. So if you are tensing and fighting, you produce a whole lot of the other hormones that your body doesn't want to produce at that time. Those are the stress hormones, right? And there's something called fear tension, like when you have that fear and you tense, and it's going to be more painful. When you have the fear, you know that there's the fear, but you really acknowledge that you are experiencing that fear, and you find ways to navigate that, it's going to be a lot less. It's going to be a lot less painful for you, even though there's no, birth, it depends on how everybody goes through birth, and the experiences is different with everybody, okay? Some women go through pain. Yes, they know that there is pain and they've experienced that pain. Some women will say, I did not even experience pain at all, because the way they prepare. Even if you prepare, sometimes you still experience that pain. Yeah. But you cannot fight it. You absolutely cannot fight it. Of course, you can fight it because it's going to happen. So what can you do? What can you do to make it a little less fearful? A little less, okay, it brings me more anxiety. Because the more fearful you are at that thing, and you don't know that thing, the more you try to avoid it. And when you try to avoid it, means you are fighting it. Right? When you try to avoid it, that means you're fighting it. So I don't know who this is, but it looks like your questions. Yeah, I mean, it's for the pain of childbirth. Even Maryam radiallahu anha experienced pain during giving birth to the prophet, right? She was giving birth to the prophet of Allah, right? But she experienced pain. Allah could have made it easy for her, but she experienced it because it is just part of it, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let me continue reading, and then when I see questions, I would answer. Okay? All right, so I'm reading page 5. I'm still on chapter 1, the second page of chapter 1. The first trimester, which is usually considered to be the beginning 13 or 14 weeks of pregnancy, may include getting a positive test, interviewing care providers, having your first few appointments with your provider, and perhaps towards the end of this period, seeing or hearing the baby's heart tone for the first time. At this beginning stage, I encourage you to think of yourself as setting the foundation for a supported, affirming journey so that you get the care, love, and support you deserve. And to do so, you need to know deep in your bones that you are worthy of respect, love, and care. Just as importantly, you need to be able to act from this belief when it comes to all those beginning things. Choosing a care provider, announcing your pregnancy to family and friends, and navigating the changes in your body and moods. You deserve it not just for your baby, but for yourself. The baby is important, and so are you. Yes. Okay, I shared a video. You can go on my video tab and watch. I shared a video about that a little, maybe about 4 months ago, and I mentioned that. Okay, baby, 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 baby. A lot of times, Allah is gonna take care of baby. When you do everything else, Allah, Allah is going to take care of you. Allah is going to take care of the baby. But when you neglect yourself, baby is vulnerable, right? Baby is vulnerable. Baby will come into the world. And mama is not really well because mama has neglected herself. Mama hasn't measured all of the other things that come after all the steps that she has to go through to motherhood. And then it becomes very hard and becomes very challenging, even though it's challenging. But we navigate through the challenges as blessings, right? Not as horrible tests, right? Okay. Here's one of the weird and wild things about reproduction. During that interim period between ovulation and taking a pregnancy test, everything you are feeling could be a symptom of PMS or pregnancy. It can be infuriating or terrifying and really fray your nerves, maybe even more so if you have a history of loss or infertility. You may get positive tests right away and you may not, or you may not. Not everyone does. You may not feel anything until you've missed the period. If you have had additional pregnancies, you may not even need a test. It's possible you will feel an energy shift and just to know something is different and have a pretty good idea what that something is. Even after confirming of pregnancy, there are plenty of variations of normal. You may have zero early signs. I hear a lot from women who think something is wrong when they don't feel anything in those first weeks, when you might just be less susceptible to feeling the hormonal changes. On the other hand, you may feel tenderness in your breast and nausea right away. Both are variations of normal, like I explained earlier. The first trimester is also the time when you may experience that much dreaded and much misunderstood symptoms of pregnancy, morning sickness. For some, morning sickness will be hilariously inadequate misnomer if you weren't feeling too sick to laugh. You may indeed feel nausea in the morning, but plenty of women experience it in the afternoon or in the evening. You might feel sick all day and not just in the first trimester, but sometimes into the second trimester. And I hate to say it, even throughout the pregnancy, I have been sick at every one of those points during some of the pregnancies. For some pregnancies, though, your normal may be little to no nausea at all. Like I said earlier too, right? So somebody who you know, maybe your sister-in-law, maybe your cousin, has been pregnant and then experience a blissful pregnancy. You find yourself pregnant and you are going through all sort of emotions, all sort of nausea, morning sickness. It's not even morning sickness, it's all day sickness. That doesn't mean your pregnancy is defaulted. That doesn't mean you did anything wrong. That doesn't mean that person is favored. No, it is because of variation of normal. It is normal for her to go through that as a blissful pregnancy experience. It is also normal for you to go through that as a pregnancy that comes with discomfort, if it is in the early stages or later stages. During my first pregnancy, my first wave of morning sickness happened at Christmas dinner. My entire family was spending the holidays in the White Mountains of eastern Arizona. The nausea hit me during the 30-mile drive from our cabin to the restaurant. Nothing sounded good at dinner, and the food I did eat did not want to stay down, although my menstrual cycle was late. Okay, I hope you can hear me, right? I'm using my phone to record. So if you cannot hear me, please let me know. I see. No, la halal, la halal. It's okay. You can ask the questions. If I have the answer to it, I will answer it. If not, it's okay to not know everything. Okay, so right, you will know for sure you are in labor. There are stages of labor, okay? There are stages of labor. So sometimes women go through Braxton Hicks. They start to feel like a little bit of pressure, a little bit of come and go contraction, and that Braxton Hicks is like it's also called practice contraction. Okay, so some women will go through that throughout their pregnancy, maybe from this late second trimester all the way to the third trimester, feeling it like it's contraction, is not contraction. That is not a real contraction. It's just practice contraction. But when a woman is going through contraction, she is going to feel that the contraction is consistent. Okay? It's not like it's going to happen and then maybe it happens, the contraction starts 1 minute and after 10 minutes, you start to feel contraction again, and then it starts maybe and lasts for 1 minute again, or 30 seconds or whatever, and then after 20 minutes or 30 minutes you start to feel it again, or 1 hour later or 2 hours later you start to feel it again. That is not a true contraction. Okay, true contraction is consistent. Yeah, true contraction is consistent. Okay, I have shared a video which I will link it down in the description box below, explaining all of that. I shared it a little while ago about the stages of contraction, the stages of labor. The stages of labor. If I'll share it under this link when I'm done. I don't know how to come out from this thing, especially because I'm on my phone, to share a link. Okay, so I'll share it down in the description box below. If you're interested, you can watch that video and learn from that. Okay, all right. Okay. I was often, although my menstrual cycle was late, I was often irregular, and 2 precious pregnancy tests were negative. So I figured I just had a stomach virus. Why is this thing keep coming up? No, please. Can you hear me, please? Hopefully I'm not just reading to myself and no the voice or something. It happened before. I'm learning this live thing because it's kind of like a confidence boost for me. So I'm learning as I go. I try to come on live all the time to just make sure that it's one of the skills that I want to master. So it's not all about coming on live for coming on live's sake. Okay? So I was often irregular, and 2 of previous pregnancy tests were negative. So I figured I just had a stomach virus. Nausea came over me every day for the next couple of weeks, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon, or at night. It took a while to figure out I was pregnant, as even a 3rd test came back negative. I finally had to go to an OBGYN to figure out what was going on with me. At 9 weeks, I learned I was pregnant. At no point during that first pregnancy did I get a break of more than a few hours from morning sickness. I lost a total of 30 pounds. I lost a total of 35 pounds. The midwives were worried I was losing too much weight, but that didn't concern me at all. I had some to spare. I was not diagnosed with hyperemesis gravidarum during that pregnancy, but knowing what I know now, all the signs were there. Hyperemesis gravidarum, or HG, is one of those things in pregnancy that is rarely talked about, and therefore it can be difficult to be taken seriously when you have it or think you do. It is characterized by extreme nausea and vomiting that causes weight loss and dehydration. Vomiting multiple times a day and feeling late and dizzy are the usual signs and symptoms. When looking into HG, most websites and doctors will tell you that it is extreme morning sickness that lasts up to 20 weeks before clearing up. And in some cases, it may last longer. Anywhere from 0.5 to 10.8% of pregnant women experience HG. It is not yet well diagnosed. If you are working, making numerous trips to the bathroom or vomiting, to the bathroom to vomit, or taking sick days that you may be trying to save to use after your baby is born, it is very stressful. In addition to being told by your doctor or midwife to eat ginger and sultans and drink water, you may also be told to go outside for a walk, or that it's just a case of mind over matter. It can be maddening to get a stark answer from your care provider, a person you are putting a lot of trust in to care for you during your pregnancy. It can feel like a condescending slap in the face. It's easy for depression to seep in and to feel like your entire world is spiraling out of control. I've been there. At one point during my first trimester, I was so sick and dehydrated that I found myself making several visits to the hospital for outpatient treatment to get intravenous fluids. During my fourth or fifth visit, I thought I might finally feel well enough to try a little food. The only thing I wanted was clear carbonated soda and a bite of a hamburger to see if I could keep them down. I took 3 sips and a bite. I took 3 sips and a bite or 2 of the burger that Brandon had brought. Maybe Brandon is her husband or partner, and that's all I could do. When the nurse came back in and saw the burger wrapper, she quickly turned judgmental, lecturing me about eating chicken and vegetables or crackers and plain ginger. Obviously, this nurse knew very little about me, or she would have known that the very sight of chicken, even when I'm not pregnant, makes me gag. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Yeah. Yeah, taking birthing classes is very, very helpful. Okay. If you take birthing classes, it's gonna really be helpful to you. No matter what type of pregnancy what type of birth you want. Even if you want to have your baby through C-section, birthing classes can be very helpful. Childbirth classes can be very, very helpful. It's going to tell you a lot about pregnancy. It's going to tell you a lot about yourself and your baby, the hormonal changes that is going on with you. And then also the advocacy part. I like that because a lot of women don't know that there is that part, especially if they're giving birth in the hospital. If you're giving birth in the hospital, there's an extra kind of task that you need to work on. Advocacy, okay? Because there's a lot of things happening in the hospital or can happen in the hospital that would be like, no, I didn't sign up for this. No, I didn't know that this is gonna happen. No, I didn't know that they would even suggest this for me and my baby. But if you are aware through childbirth education classes, that can be supportive. So when those things arrive or when those things become a topic to discuss or to to consider, you know it already and you know what option you want to choose. Okay, even if there is no option, you can choose not to do anything if it is not life threatening to you and to your baby. Okay. Okay, let me continue reading. And then I will look on the thing again because I've seen some comments that are not anything to pay attention to. I don't want to go through that comment anymore. Okay, so I am moving on to the next page. Okay. I think I passed page 7. Right now I just forgot which page I was. Okay. When you are really sick and trying to keep anything down, a judgmental or inconsiderate response from a care provider can make you feel insecure. Instead of offering compassion and personalized care, they invalidate what you are going through. So often, women's symptoms aren't taken seriously, and they are judged for what they do not eat when they can. This is why finding a care provider who is competent and respectful is important so that you are supported through your unique pregnancy and birth. And if they are not knowledgeable or supportive, it is your right to change providers to one who is. Because you are not talking about yourself anymore. You are talking about the two of you, your baby. And if you're having a multiple pregnancy, you are not talking about just one person. You're talking about 3 or more people. Okay? So making that decision early on in your pregnancy is very, very important. If you are not sick, however, it doesn't necessarily mean there is something wrong. There are no rules that say you have to have morning sickness or that morning sickness will only happen in the morning or only for X number of weeks. And there are exactly as many variations of normal for when you will start showing as there are variations of bodies. If you are pregnant with your second or third or even fourth or fifth child, know that your uterus is a muscle with a very good memory. So it's common to hear women say they start showing sooner with the subsequent pregnancies. Yeah. And also because maybe your uterus hasn't shrinked back the same way it's expanded from your previous pregnancy, okay, or because your stomach, your abdomen itself hasn't shrinked back. There are many normal ways to feel when you become pregnant too. Whether you've been trying to conceive for a while, you got pregnant immediately, or it was a complete surprise. Pregnancy brings with it a whole range of emotions. It is easy to get caught up in trying to feel how you think you are supposed to feel instead of allowing yourself the freedom to acknowledge your feelings in all their complex and even conflicting messiness. Excitement, fear, uncertainty, the desire to plan, the need to share your news, the longing to keep it all, the longing to keep it all to yourself, residual feelings from previous pregnancies or life experiences. Sometimes I feel all those things just trying to remember to renew our vehicle registration and put the humans away at night. The hummus away at night. So it's only natural that along with any physical signs, a flood of emotions will accompany pregnancy. One of those life-orienting, existential human experiences. Rather than trying to feel the right way about it, choose to let yourself fully experience it. Be on your journey. Let yourself ride a roller coaster of feelings and accept that the things will change for you and your family. It's okay to be scared and excited and exhausted at all at once. Your provider is a big part of your pregnancy, regardless of who else you have on your birth team. A supportive partner, a fabulous doula, and so on. The truth is that your provider, whether they be an OB or a midwife, is a major partner in your birth journey. It is important that your relationship with your provider is one of the trust and respect. It's one of trust and respect. You are so awesome. Make sure you have a care provider who knows how amazing you are and treats you like a human being, of course. It's not treating you like the other, okay? It's treating you like everyone else, all right? So if you immediately start to feel like your provider is not treating you as the human being in front of him, as him also is a human being, then it's a red flag, because that is going to surface. It's going to surface when you are having your baby with that provider. And you don't want that, okay? So when choosing a provider, make sure that you have a provider that you feel confident about, that you trust, that the person also respects you in return. You are allowed to have a voice in your relationship with your care provider. You are at the start of a very long journey of advocating for yourself and for your children. You can start it at any time and restart it at any time. And interviewing providers is one powerful way to do that. In picking a provider, you don't have to go with your mom's gynecologist or limit your search to whoever is close by and is covered by your insurance. Very important. Just because it's been a family provider for a long time doesn't mean it's going to be a best provider for you or the right provider for you and for your baby. You are not going to know what's going to happen in every situation. So let go of that need to ask all the right questions or make the perfect pick right away. Instead, prioritize finding someone whose philosophy is in line with yours, especially as Muslims. I have mentioned that so much. I went into detail with one of the earliest videos, lives. I think I was nervous at that time, but it's packed with information. I shared about that in one of the videos when I started to go live, okay? You can go on my video tab. It's going to be there. And then also I can share it in the link down in the description down below, inshallah, when I'm done with this live. Okay. So you are not going to know what's happening in every situation. So let go of that need to ask all the right questions or make the perfect pick right away. Instead, prioritize finding someone whose philosophy is in line with yours, especially as Muslims as well. We have added value, right? Added issue to add on everything else, right? So if you are thinking about everything else with all of the things that you want to prioritize for your birth wishes, you also add that. As in, is this doctor going to understand my values and my philosophy as a Muslim woman, as a covet Muslim woman like me, as a niqabi woman going into birth? Is this doctor, am I going to discuss it with the doctor? So my aura is also a priority, right? My the people who come in as the birth team that might come in without my knowledge. Maybe they are coming in to learn. They are students, doctors, or whatever, residential staff. It has to be communicated with me so I know or prepare or all of those things. And then if there is any talking around, too much yapping, too much somebody playing something in the background or whatever, is that going to be aligned with me, right? So you discuss all of those things. And then also make sure choosing the doctor knows that, yeah, these are things that are priorities for you. Okay. So let go of the need to ask all the right questions or make the perfect pick right away. Instead, prioritize finding someone whose philosophy is in line with yours. Whatever your situation, by interviewing providers, you are educating yourself and you are opening up a conversation to see if the two of you are a good fit together. Who is the person behind the credentials? Your goal is a working relationship based on respect and mutually aligned goals. During your first and every appointment with your provider, you have the right to as much information as you need to feel at ease. And you have the right to a second opinion if you feel unheard, unseen, or disrespected. I had one sister who was telling me when she goes to her appointment, every appointment, since she became pregnant, every appointment, the doctor will be like, okay, you good? All right. So how is it? Okay, come, go do the urine. Okay, come, do the ultrasound. And that's it. No explanation, no telling her what is happening, no communicating with her what is next, nothing. And then that's it. So she feels like, what is that? But just a little bit of conversation and some here and there talk with her, she was like, oh wow, this is the most informative session I have had since I became pregnant. Because whenever I go to my doctor never explains anything. He never tells me what to expect. He never tells me what to expect for the appointment and what to expect next. He never tells me what is happening. Even if I ask, he said, oh, everything is good. He's good. When you find a doctor like that, you have to ask yourself, is this what you want to move forward with? Because especially the question that came up with the natural birth thing, if you want to have a natural birth, especially in the hospital, and you find yourself with a doctor like that, there's possibility that the doctor is going to brush you off when you are in that childbirth process. Childbirth event, right? And everything else will not be heard. You won't be heard. You won't be seen. It's going to be the doctor's decision, and God forbid, right? So if you are with a doctor, make sure you can confidently ask the doctor questions and the doctor has the time to answer you. If the doctor doesn't have time to answer you, the doctor has designated some time after hours to call you and explain things with you. And that is most beneficial. That is better for you. And that is more. That because you know what? Because of the hormones that you produce in your body. Every emotions produces hormones. It's not that we go through emotions. Broke is it broken wings? 2, 3, and 4. It's not that we go through emotions and then it goes through us and we experience it and that's it. No. Every emotion that we go through, whether you're pregnant or not, you produce hormones. You produce so many other things in your body. And as we know, our body, the muscles remember, okay? They keep score, okay? So if, like you said, if you are always excessively angry and you are pregnant, it is possible that you are producing a lot of stress hormones, okay? That means your body is sensing that you are stressful, it's trying to protect you, and you're going to produce a lot of the stress hormones, okay? So producing a lot of the stress hormones signals to baby also that there is kind of like things going on that are not really safe, right? So the more hormonal stuff, it's just like gestational diabetes, right? If a mama is producing a whole lot of insulin and you are being diagnosed with the gestational diabetes, what do they tell you? They tell you that baby is growing bigger. You're going to end up giving birth to a bigger baby. And when you give birth to a bigger baby, there's possibility that the baby is going to also be have diabetes in later years of their lives, right? Because baby is going to be producing those hormones that you are producing because of the sense that the body is unsafe. So in a way, yes, that's true. So that's very, very important. It's one of the things also that it's one of the things that I think as women need to pay attention to also recognize that when you are pregnant, your dealings, your experiences is also the experience of your child, of your child in your uterus. So the more you get angry, the more you just say words out of your mouth without giving it any thought or something can affect you and maybe can affect the baby. I don't know about that really scientifically, but yeah, it could be true. Yeah. Lahalel, what are you interested about? You say yes, please, very interested. Let me see if I can see the previous comments. Yeah, back labor can be painful. That's so true. It can be very intense. Was your baby breech in any way? If baby was breech, it's it can also cause that pain, like back pain, that's back labor, or maybe the position of the baby. Sometimes if the baby, the position of the baby can also make you to feel that intensity and that pain as well. Yeah, I have, I know that every type of labor is painful. Whatever labor you're going through is painful. But yeah, for real, back labor can be another whole different thing altogether. I don't know if these are previous videos. I mean previous comments. I didn't see the time they came in. I just started to see comments. No, she wasn't. Yeah. Oh, okay. So you guys are just talking between yourselves. Okay. So this is just a conversation that's happening. It's not a question for me. All right. They are not questions for me. So let me move on. Yeah. During your first and every appointment with your provider, you have the right to ask much information as you need to feel at ease. And you have the right to a second opinion if you feel if you feel unheard, unseen, or disrespected, whether it's your first or 10th appointment. Even if something just felt off, if your OB or midwife wants to do a cervical exam and that makes you uncomfortable, you are allowed to voice your discomfort and ask to discuss the practice of cervical exams with them. If your care provider is not taking seriously how sick you are feeling, you need to see someone else. If you are a VBAC birthing mama, you would want to ask. VBAC means vaginal birth after C-section. So if you've had a C-section before and you want to have a vaginal birth after having the C-section, then it's called a VBAC, okay? You need to prepare in a different way, especially if you live in the United States, Canada, or UK. They treat you as somebody who it's kind of a high risk for vaginal birth, depending on how your C-section turned out the first time. Okay, do you support if you are a VBAC birthing mama? You would want to ask, do you support a VBAC? What are your transfer rates from home to hospital? How many of your transfers have vaginal births and how many have cesareans and why? If I go past 40 weeks, how long are you comfortable with? I explained to you earlier, right? What are my options before a repeat C-section? Do you support different labor positions other than lying on my back? All right. If you took a childbirth education class, you should know that laying on your back to give birth is one of the things that you don't want to do if you don't feel comfortable about. If it makes you to feel more pain. Some women kind of choose to lay on their back and give birth, and they feel fine about it. But the majority of women, the way our body is, we laying on the back to give birth is not an ideal position. Okay? So if you've taken a childbirth education class before, you should know this. And inshallah, my video tab would be filled with this information, more organized information, not coming to just read. I'm coming here on live because I want to actually build a little bit of that life skill, that life skill of coming on live randomly to do this, okay? So it's for a purpose, okay? If you're here, engage with me. If you have a question, please let me know. If I have an answer to it, I will answer. If I don't, I will tell you I don't know. All right, okay. Other things you may start thinking about and discussing with your care provider. These will be discussed in greater detail when we talk about writing a birth plan. How do you and the hospital feel about delayed cord clamping? If you know what delayed cord clamping is, if you give birth, you want to wait for a little bit. Hospital policies in America here, it says 60 seconds before they cut the cord. If you want to have the delayed cord clamping for a longer time, you have to discuss it with your provider and make sure that the provider understands why you want it to last for that time. Okay, doctors will be like, oh, when it passes 60 seconds, it's the blood that is going back to the baby doesn't have anything beneficial. It doesn't do anything beneficial to the baby. There's no use of it, or it's not evidence-based. Yes, evidence-based says 60 seconds, but some women want it to be clear, for the cord to be white, right? Yeah. So if that's what you want, you need to discuss it with your provider before you even find yourself in the birthing room. Okay. How do you and the hospital feel about skin-to-skin contact? Skin-to-skin is when you give birth right away, you put the baby bare-chested or bare skin with the baby, especially if you want to breastfeed. If you want to breastfeed, that helps to give a lot of benefit for you and for baby and for the letdown of breast milk, okay? So skin to skin is very, very important. It helps to regulate baby's immune system. It helps to regulate you, the mama, as well. It produces a lot of oxytocin that enhances the production, or that encourages the production of breast milk and the bonding itself with mama and baby. Okay. What are your and the hospital policies on delayed hepatitis B, vitamin K, and silver nitrate? So these are questions too. When you take a childbirth education class, some childbirth education class will go through with you on this stuff. Hepatitis B, vitamin K. Sometimes, yeah, these are some topics that come up a lot. So if you are interested in these kind of topics, in this kind of things, yeah, I highly suggest that you take a childbirth education class, or I am going to make a whole bunch of videos that are more organized with little more information about these topics. So if you are not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and continue learning. We learn together. You can add many more questions to your list. We have an extensive list with comments on the Birth Without Fear website, and there are many resources available. The point is not to go into your appointment shooting questions shooting questions at the care provider, but to calmly and respectfully open discussion to see if the two of you are a good fit. You cannot go to the doctor and expect to have questions without knowing that you have options, okay? If you don't know that you have options, if you don't know that you have rights, you will not have questions. And then even if you have questions and the questions are not being answered, you will not even be aware that your questions are not answered extensively for your benefit and for the benefit of your pregnancy and your baby, okay? So that's why I encourage reading and taking classes. And one of the books that I always recommend, this book that I'm reading, Birth Without Fear, okay? So if you want to pick up this book, it's very, very informational. I am only in the 13 pages. I have not read even enough already. And there's a lot of information. If you have not heard of any of these things that I have mentioned before, it's likely that you are not very well informed about a lot into the pregnancy and childbirth area. So you want to just pick up something, read up on it, read and pick up one or two things that is most important to you, okay? That you feel like you want to bring. This message is held. Okay, good. Yeah. So I think that's what I should be doing. I should be doing that. I have to I have to block a lot of people. Oh, okay, because of that. Okay, good. It's okay. It's not an issue. Okay. Right. Okay, so I will read a little bit more to finish up chapter 1. Let me see if I have more pages to finish. I think I have more pages. I have about 4 leaves. It's a lot because I've been discussing some stuff. I didn't want to do that when I came in. I just wanted to just read and read and read. And then after that, I explained a little bit, and then I would just call it a day. But it looked like it took a different turn. Okay. If you live in a country where you don't get to interview providers, such as Canada or Australia, you can still fight for the care provider you know is best for you. You may need to look for loopholes, like going through a process where you self-refer to an OB or midwife if you don't have a good relationship with your family doctor, and the iron being respectful of that process. If you are finding yourself in a situation where you want a VBAC, you might have no fights. You might have to fight for a referral to a VBAC-friendly OB or midwife. Although the medical systems are different. It's like the United States in the sense that sometimes you have to seek out alternatives if the care options you want aren't readily available to you. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Like I was saying earlier, okay? So this is a sensitive topic that I'm moving on to. I'm going to speak about miscarriage. I'm not going to explain it. I'm going to just read. Okay, so if this is a sensitive topic for you, this is my disclaimer. All right. So you might want to choose to continue listening to me, or you want to just mute and then come back when I am done reading this. Okay. Miscarriage and infertility. This is not an easy topic, but I also feel that the more we treat it as taboo, the more alone we feel. When, in fact, infertility and miscarriage are common shared experience. As many as half of the pregnancies may end in miscarriage. In other words, it happens all the time. They are variations of normal. They may not make your journey any easier, but you should know you are not alone. There is enough room to hold space for all circumstances, which includes loss, within the birth without fear community. If, however, you are not in a space to read this, please skip to the next section. Miscarriage is one of those experiences you cannot understand until you go through it. I did not understand the self-doubt or the feelings of shame that so often accompany miscarriage until I went through it myself. I had a miscarriage between my first two children that I chose to ignore. Call it a coping mechanism for my heart not being able to process or face it. I was not able to ignore my second miscarriage as easily. One day, during a time when we lived in a small Texas panhandled town, we took the children into town to have a buffet lunch. After we had them all settled in with their favorite foods, I excused myself to go to the bathroom. When I wiped, I noticed I was spotting. I thought it was my period, which was late, and thought no more about it. A few days later, my period still had not begun. I found it odd, but shrugged it off. The next day, I thought I was finally beginning my period. However, after a few hours, something didn't feel right. I was cramping more than usual, and then my bleeding became very heavy. Soon, I started passing large clots. I hadn't had a positive pregnancy test, so I didn't put it all together at first. I continued having this horrible period with cramping, clots, and serious exhaustion. I also felt off emotionally. That early evening, it hit me. This was snow period. I was having a very early missed miscarriage. I felt deeply sad. My mind immediately went to self-doubt and blame. What did I do wrong? I am getting too old. Am I getting too old? Did I do something I shouldn't have? Is my body just broken? I told Brandon, and all he could do was express how sorry he was and that it would be okay. There wasn't much more he could do, but be there for me emotionally. My oldest daughter noticed I was sad and not feeling well. She asked me what was going on. She was 10 at that time, and I pondered whether or not to tell her the truth. I didn't want her to share the hurt I was experiencing, but at the same time, she was also about to start puberty, and I didn't want to pretend that this isn't common. It's a part of many girls' and women's lives. So I chose to explain to her what was happening. She quietly listened and thought about it. So this would have been a baby? Yes, I told her. The next day, she asked if I could take her to the one and only coffee shop in town. Although I didn't feel up to it, I agreed. We sat there, me with my coffee and her with her salted caramel. As she asked me questions, I explained pregnancy and how sometimes this happens and there isn't always a reason. I tried to soften the sad feelings by explaining how it was so early on. She said, "So this would have been my baby sister or brother." We both sat and silently cried together. After a few minutes, she asked if I could look around the shop, which was also a boutique. She came back with this small, soft doll and asked if we could buy it to represent this baby. We would not know. I was taken aback that she had thought of this on her own. Then she asked me something I was not expecting. Can we name the baby? Now, I wouldn't have personally done this on my own, not with any early miscarriage. But children don't make excuses to not process or feel how they do. I told her if she would like she could. She named our baby Dakota. I have never shared this moment in any blog post or social media feed. It had a big impact on us. Holding space for this loss. You see, we had 5 children and we were done. After processing this with my oldest daughter, I had a discussion with Brandon. I told him she was right. This would have been another adorable Hershey baby. He agreed. Suddenly, we were discussing whether or not we were really done. Brandon said, "Well, all children are a blessing and we make cute kids." I fell in love with him more in that moment. We decided to leave it open and you can guess how that ended. Our beautiful youngest child, our rainbow baby, was conceived 7 months later. She makes us smile every day. Struggles with infertility often also bring with them self-worth issues. The feeling that your body is failing. The feeling that your body is failing you or that your body is broken. I met women in Springfield, Missouri, who told me she had been trying to get pregnant for 7 years. Dealing with infertility made it really hard for her to come to a place of body positivity, which was a prominent theme in the Birth Without Fear gathering she attended, because she shared, "I feel my body is betraying me." A few weeks later, she messaged to tell me that she's finally pregnant. And then, sadly, she messaged me a week later to share that there was no heartbeat. On Mother's Day, I wrote her to tell her I was thinking about her and sending her love and solidarity. I did so because we can and should support one another in our journey, even when they are different. Not just the exciting part, but the sad and difficult part as well. That day in the coffee shop, my daughter reminded me how important it is to allow yourself to feel how you feel. Whatever that may be, it doesn't have to make sense to anyone, even to you. Give yourself grace to feel how you feel. It is okay to feel how you are feeling, to name your baby, to include her in the number of kids you have, and it is okay not to. It is and it is okay not to, if that doesn't work for you. It's okay to be sad about one pregnancy and celebrate another. Whether the loss is late term or very early, you need to be validated in however you feel about the loss. If you've dealt with infertility before and are pregnant now, it's okay if this pregnancy, as ecstatic as it makes you, also makes your heart ache for all the times you tried to get pregnant before. Hold the space for yourself either way. If you feel alone in a loss or are struggling with overwhelming emotions, please reach out for support. I have included resources I trust at the end of this book. Yes. All right. So it was kind of difficult for me reading this pages, about 3.5 pages. It was difficult. I'm not going to discuss it. I hope that if you're going through this, may Allah bring you ease, may Allah heal you, may Allah make it easy for you and replace a beautiful replacement for you, inshallah. Okay, so I think we've passed 1 hour. I am going to end this and then I will come back later or tomorrow, inshallah, to read up again. I hope you join me. Okay. Or let me see if, yeah, it's almost 1 o'clock. It's almost 1 o'clock. And okay. Okay. Let me end this live because it's time for Salat. I wish that I could have finished the first chapter at least, but I haven't been able to. Oh, I have few more pages to finish. I have about 2 pages to finish and a case study over here. So let me finish up and then I will end it because it's time for Zuhur. I also want to go and do my priorities, inshallah. All right. So self-care during the first trimester. Self-care in the first trimester is about learning how to start choosing yourself and your baby first, how to advocate for you. It is more than a bath. Although sometimes a bath is a good place to start, it is about taking care of yourself before others on your to-do list. During the first trimester, you may feel few to no changes and want to continue living your life exactly as usual, and that's great. It's also okay to start slowing down a little bit or even a lot if you find you need it for any reason. If you have HG, like we said, HG is also hyperemesis gravidarum. Okay, when you have excessive morning sickness, vomiting excessively, that you cannot even eat, you cannot stomach anything, all day sickness is not only in the morning, and then also you feel dehydrated. So that vomiting can cause dehydration, and that's the the event that you don't want to get to when you have hyperemesis gravidarum. So if you are experiencing any of that, make sure that you let your provider know. You also are hydrating as much as you can. As much can be just sips, okay? And as much can be a cup of water every hour or so. So as much as you can means just sips of broth, sips of soups, sips of a electrolyte water, sips of fruits that you mash, you add a little bit of water in it, you drink it, and whatever you can, try as much as possible to have sips and drinks, fluids, so you don't get to that dehydration part, okay? So if you have HG, for example, or if you crave the emotional and physiological support slowing you down would afford you, you also don't need any reason at all. Other than that is what you want to do. If your body is telling you to rest, as it literally creates a human, as it literally grows and nourishes a human. Of course, I believe that your body cannot create a human being. It's Allah who creates that human being. So this is just her words. This is what she's using. But I'm not saying that to yeah. So your body is not creating the baby. Your body, Allah is creating the baby in your uterus, and your body is nourishing the baby. Allah is making it possible that your body nourishes the baby and house it, right? Okay. Until its appointed term to come to be born. Take a nap or turn in early. If you are achy, take a bath or go for a swim. If you are feeling anxiety or more emotions than usual, make an extra appointment with your therapist or a date with your best friend for a coffee and vent session. Yes, all of these things can be helpful, but taking seriously dhikr and dua is awesome. I have not seen myself being emotionally drained, being so into it that when I start to listen to the Quran, when I start to just do some zikr, when I start to just think about Allah and just zone everybody out, that I don't feel relief. So all of these things are helpful. They are physical stuff. There are things that you can do to bring a little bit of temporal relief. But always remember, if you're going through pregnancy, it is even a case for you to be even more closer to your Lord. And not alone, like not even when you're going through anxiety, you're feeling the feeling of anxiety, you're having the feeling of anxiety or anything else, but just having that feeling, that beautiful, beautiful connection with your Lord who created you, and now creating that beautiful soul in your uterus, in your body. How amazing is that? So making dhikr and making dua, already we know that dua is the weapon of the mu'min. Dua is the weapon of the Muslim, okay, of the believer. Making dua the point of relieving yourself from a lot of emotions, a lot of the surges of emotions that happen during pregnancy and all of that. for the self-care thing. Spiritually, is a spiritual nourishment. Is beautiful. So go for the walks, go for the baths, go for the friendship, the community, and all of that. But don't forget that taking your tasbih, like right now, I even use my tasbih to be like a bookmark for me, right? And always saying things, making your mouth moist with saying subhanallah, alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. Amazing, amazing. Like somebody was saying, if you're an angry person, earlier on, I think I addressed that, not knowing that they were just talking between themselves in the comment section. If you're a very angry person, there's possibility that your baby is also feeling that anger, right? So your baby is gonna feel that anger, and you might give birth to to a child who have a little bit of that, right? But I don't know if there's any scientific evidence specifically saying that with anger. Okay, that maybe I have to look up. But yes, it is true that even if a woman is very close to Allah, she is really nourishing herself spiritually with the words of Allah, listening to the Quran all the time. The house is filled with voices of Quran. You yourself reciting Quran. You are possibly translating that to baby, and baby, all that is making baby comfortable is those words, because you see that at the end of the day, your words of reciting the Quran makes baby comfortable, makes you yourself be in that peaceful zone, and gives baby peace as well. So yeah, and I think that's the case she's also trying to say in this book. All right. All right. So you need to take care of yourself, period. You don't need to justify or explain it to anyone, including yourself. Carve out a little extra space here and there on your calendar. Take 5 minute extra take 5 extra minutes to yourself in the morning before jumping on your phone or looking at your to-do list. Taking care of yourself is a practice or habit more than anything else. And taking care of yourself is an amana, right? Your body is an amana in Islam, so taking care of it is important. Nobody can take care of yourself, right? You have to take care of yourself before somebody else can give you support. So making yourself priority is important, right? Especially during pregnancy, because when pregnancy is done, you see yourself with baby, and now you have a whole human being that you are responsible for. Then the challenges arises as in, okay, I cannot even manage myself. How can I go about managing this little precious baby? It becomes very difficult, right? Okay. So taking care of yourself is a practice of or habit more than anything else. So start practicing how to fill your tank now. This practice will help you learn how to do so through this whole amazing journey you are on. For now, postpartum, and in parenthood. Laying a strong foundation for listening to your body and your instincts will serve you for your entire pregnancy, your birth experience, and postpartum, your whole life, really. So often we feel we have to have permission to slow down and take care of ourselves. You don't need it. The thing is, you have every reason and right to listen to what your body needs already. I know that's easier said than done. So if you are the kind of person who tends to need permission from an outside source, I give you permission while your body is making a tiny baby heart. while a tiny baby's heart is being fashioned by Allah in your body, you're allowed to take a nap or binge watch Netflix. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That is if you have done all your farts. That's if you have done all your farts and you are not neglecting those. You're making sure that you are also giving the rights of the people around you. You're giving your body the rights over you and everything. Yeah, watching Netflix, good stuff. That is more beneficial to you and your soul. Can be good. All right. So if the idea of self-care seems absolutely foreign to you and you don't know where to begin, I recommend starting with all small things, with one small thing, like buying one pair of underwear that fit, don't have holes, and iron period panties, right? So when she said that she's giving you permission, Allah has given us permission too. Allah has given us permission to take care of ourselves, right? So that's why we will not be judged based on somebody else's action. We will be judged based on our own actions. So yeah, we will be asked how we took care of our body, because it's part of the manner that Allah has given us, and Allah has given us permission to take care of it. That's why He's gonna ask us how we took care of it, right? Okay. It's also a good idea to spend some time thinking about when you want to announce. It is nice to wait and let these early weeks be a time for you. It is nice to wait and let these early weeks be a time for you, your partner, and your children, if you have them, to enjoy the beginning of things. I have shared a video that has picked up a bit, and I think a lot of people are resonating with what I have shared about 10 things to do in the early pregnancy, which I have shared that, and then also 10 things not to do, to avoid when you find out that you're pregnant. And one of the things that I shared about is sharing early on about your pregnancy. And then also when you find out that you're pregnant, we go all out and hype with without really remembering that this is a beautiful, beautiful blessing that we have to bow down and show gratitude to the Lord, to Allah, who has made it possible. You make a sujood shukr and thank Allah that yes, this has happened. It could have happened to somebody else. It's not because you ate properly. It's not because you nourish yourself. It's not because you are wealthy, because you have a husband. No, it's not because of that. Allah has made it possible that it's happening to you, right? So you bow down, sujood shukr, and you make Allah, you give gratitude to Allah, right? So that video has been picking up, and people are, I think, aligning with the information that I shared. I'm going to link it down in the description box below. If not, you can also check in my videos to watch it, okay? All right, let me quickly finish up and then we can call it a day. All right. It's also a good idea to spend some time thinking about when you want to announce. It is nice to wait and let early weeks. I think I have read one over here. Once you tell people, you may quickly find that everyone from family to random co-workers will be in your business with opinions about your body and your pregnancy. Unsolicited advice and even criticism can come at you from all directions. And to that, the reality that we are the first generation of birth and parents in the age of social media and the Pinterestification. I've never heard of this word before. And the Pinterestification of pregnancy starts early with pregnancy announcement. Yes, right? So protect your space right from the start. Tell people you want to tell people you want to tell, but maybe save the Facebook status updates for later so you can celebrate all over again with another circle of friends. So this is not a play. If especially also in regards to what the prophet has told us about iron, right? So if you want to announce so early on to show that you have been blessed, it's okay to show that you've been blessed by Allah and show your testament, but go back in and think about the reason why you're doing that. If the reason why you are going to do that and share it to others is only because you want others to know, then go back again and renew your intention. If it is to share a beneficial knowledge, even with that, you don't have to share it to be for you to be the center of attention, for your story to be the center of attention, right? You don't have to share it because this is very, very serious thing. As in, there is a lot of people. It's not only the friends and family who are going to see. It's the co-workers who, because Facebook, social media and everything, they share it, whatever you share, especially if you are on your personal page, they will share it to people you know and the people who know the people you know and the people who know the people you know, the know and know. So it becomes something like in a circle. You never know that somebody knows you until you know that they know you. And that is scary, especially if you're trying to prevent that public eye and prevent that ayn. You have not armored yourself well with dua and dhikr, and you have not started introducing Allah to your baby already through Quran, through dhikr, through dua, through a whole lot of other stuff, then I think it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary to bring it to the public eye. Yeah, it's unnecessary, right? And that is my opinion. I mean, yeah. And like I said, I shared similar information in a video, and I'm going to share it down in the description box below after this live when I put all the description of this video after. I'm going to save it, okay? All right. Start thinking about creating a bubble of support for yourself and your partner. Who is in, who is out. And yeah, for real, you can bring people in and you can take people out. Take some time to take stock of the people in your life with clear-eyed honesty. One friend of mine is very close with her mother, but she also knows that her mother can be harsh, judgmental, and self-involved, and this triggers resentment and hurt in my friend. Acknowledging this doesn't mean she loves her mother any less or that her mother isn't an important member of the support team. It simply means she has the awareness to put boundaries on that relationship. When the conversation starts heading in a touchy direction, she knows to politely make her way to the door. She also knows she can address these issues head on by saying out loud to herself, "This is what I need from you right now. If you are unable to support me in this way, I will limit our interaction." This is how you make your bubble. Exploring how others make you feel and the kind of support and love the people in your life can give you through this journey, and putting yourself at the center of your own life. It is hard enough to work through your own fears. It is hard enough growing a human. You don't need to deal with someone else's baggage, trauma, and fears. Who listens to you? who empowers and supports you through decision making, who makes it all about them, who lectures and judges. Go all mama here on earth. Anyone who doesn't support you gets a throat punch out of your bubble. Protect yourself just as fiercely as you would protect your baby. Yes, so true. All right. Okay. So what I have next is about a story. I think is a it says partner point of view. I don't want to read that. It's not part of. It's just if you are interested in the book, you can grab it and have it for yourself and read it. And if you are interested in me being your support person as a doula or your childbirth educator, you can let me know. I can borrow this to you and other books if you live in the location that I serve women. Okay, if you live in the Bronx, Manhattan, I can share it with you. Okay, and I have other books also. All right, so I think that would be it. I'm calling it a day. Let me see if there is any question that I need to attend to. If there isn't, then it's okay. Yes, thank you very much for joining. Broken Wing 2384. Yeah, I see that you were very engaging. I now see a lot of comments from you, and you were going through conversation with other sister over here. That's nice. I should have answered some of the questions. What is the ripple? Oh my God. SubhanAllah. Yeah. May Allah forgive me and forgive whoever has a good intention but mistakenly says something to hurt somebody in this life that I had. It was a little tough life in the beginning, okay? Yeah, which I didn't want to expose myself, but you know, social media can do a whole lot. So inshallah, I want the good energy, and YouTube is not sharing my videos to those who need this video. It's actually sharing it to those who are very disrespectful of women, okay? Not only of Islam. They are very disrespectful of women, right? So that's unfortunate. But Alhamdulillah, I was able to share information. I was also able to build the kind of speaking skills and confidence that I'm also hoping to get. Even if I don't get anything else, I have shared information that somebody would utilize and make use of it. And I have also gained to practice more, to be live and increase my confidence of speaking. All right. So inshallah, I hope this was helpful. I'm going to come on live tomorrow and read chapter 2, and also maybe this evening I'll come on live based on what Allah has blessed me with in time. Okay, if not, then I'll come tomorrow and share something else with you, maybe a recipe or something in that line. All right. I have lined up what I wanted to be sharing, but it looks like I just want to come on randomly for a little bit to see how that would work for me. Okay. How that can benefit me as well as a person who wants to harness my speaking skills. All right, so inshallah, I will see you tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.